you've got to come out here. This is a movie. I invite the two other panelists to come out to Alberta. I'll treat you at Caesars, and I'll fill you in on all this stuff. It's
Sounds
amazing.
great.
But anyway, I'm in the belly of the beast known as Alberta politics, and the belly is growling today. My down is Danielle Smith. Three things. One, a poll comes out, very reputable, commissioned by CBC News. NDP majority government if the election was today. The UCP are down 9 points. They won the last election by 22 points. So look at those numbers and shudder. Number two, Danielle Smith faces a by-election in a seat where you could run a silhouette as a Conservative and they would win by a landslide. But she still is running, and that's tomorrow in Brooks Medicine Hat. We'll see where that goes. But there are lots of people who are hoping, and they say they're going to do it, that there is some kind of pivot from this COVID stuff that is just going to drag Danielle Smith down. And the polls showed how few people are impressed with what she has done so far. And we have a story out here where it talks about a headline in the papers talking about a former Trump medical COVID advisor, coming to Alberta. Here we go. So this is going to be up and down for a while, for the next few weeks, until we really see how this government is going to shape up. But right now it is roller coaster time here in Dog Sled, Alberta.
You're referencing, of course, how cold and snowy it is there. I want to get your other panelists in a second. I just want to follow up. I want to get your read, because we're, I think, more than a few weeks into Danielle Smith's tenure as Premier, at least 3. You can correct me if I'm wrong, maybe even more at this point. What is your read on what's going wrong? And we kept talking about the kind of short runway she had till the spring election. How short do you feel that runway is at this point? That's for you. That's for you, Rick. A follow-up for you. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. The short runway. She has to do something fairly quickly. If she wins tomorrow, which she almost certainly will, the legislature comes in by the end of the month. They've got to pivot to affordability, inflation, the healthcare system, the big concerns for Albertans. The big Achilles heel for Danielle Smith is she's got to get away from the kooky ideas, or at the very least ideas that will not win her the election in May. And this is what she has to avoid, keeping on stepping into the you-know-what and having the you-know-what hit the you-know-fan. And that's what she has to avoid. So she can put out all the affordability stuff and this, that, and the next thing. But if she keeps having stories about, woohoo, who knows what's happening next? Stay tuned, film at 11. I think then, there's going to be problems. So the next few weeks are crucial. If she cannot get things together and govern like a sort of mainstream Conservative Premier by Christmas time, it could be a very interesting new year, and it could be a year of change in Alberta. So she's got till Christmas at the latest to do something.
We'll put the countdown clock on.
Pivot.
Pivot. Well, let me ask you, Rob, about that, because the difficulty in pivoting, I would imagine, is the breadth of material the opposition probably has about things that Premier Smith has said in the past. I mean, we've already seen some indications of that. There's no way the NDP is just sitting around waiting for her to pivot, and then they're going to leave it all by the side. My guess is it's going to be something that continues to get fed to reporters, and then Premier Smith gets asked about. Your thoughts on that, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're Danielle Smith, you lasted longer than Liz Truss and the lettuce. I guess that's a win. But I still think that there's, I mean, to Rick's point, a narrative has formed that she's not in the mainstream of conservative thinking. And there are a lot of small C conservative voters who are going to vote for Rachel Notley's New Democrats next year in Alberta. That's what these polls suggest, and that's what my friends in Alberta tell me. So I think she has a big problem that she could actually do very, very poorly next year. I mean, obviously, presumably she wins the by-election tomorrow. If she doesn't, then maybe she's doing the UCP a huge favor. I don't know.
And Marika, what are your thoughts on sort of a lot of this stuff dogging her?
I think I have a bit of a contrarian view on it, Vashi, just because I actually think that, 6 months in politics is a lifetime, and maybe people judge her in 3 months based on her first month of showing, in which case she could actually be looking a whole lot better than she is right now. And, you know, she
They might
isn't
just
yet
forget
in,
it all.
They might just forget it all. She isn't yet in the legislature. They'll have a budget in between then. And I just think it is way too soon to say how this goes in 6 months' time when the next election is. Just remember, when Prime Minister Justin Trudeau triggered that snap election last year, the polls were suggesting the Liberals were on course for majority government, and they got squat of nothing for that. So I think it can still change a lot, but certainly you can't ignore it, that there are warning signs that it's not going well right now.
I just have 30 seconds left, Rick, but the difference also is the added context, and you can just, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of people who might, those small C Conservatives who might vote for the NDP, they want a reason to vote for the Conservatives. So the NDP have like an added challenge.
Right, absolutely. Remember, in the last provincial election, the UCP won by 22 points. So there are a lot of those people that are frustrated, perhaps, with the Smith. In fact, they are frustrated with the Smith government at the moment. But if she brings in these initiatives, if they catch on, if she doesn't go down some strange, have some strange spacewalks into other solar systems, and if she sort of just governs the flippin' province, then, I think there are lots of ridings, particularly in Calgary, which will give her that break. But she has to do that. And on top of that, she does have money to spend because of the oil price. There's also money to dish around to various and sundry causes and projects.
And on that note, I will say I appreciate all your self-censorship this evening. Thank you to all three of our panelists. Appreciate your time and the discussion as always. Rick Bell, Rob Benzie, and Marika Walsh. More Power in Politics just ahead. Don't go anywhere.